Hello everyone and welcome! As you can see, Total War Warhammer 40,000 is real. We're going in from fantasy to 40k. This was only inevitable. And it looks like there's a lot happening. So we can see Imperial Guard, we can see Space Marines of course, with the ultramarine colours, and of course some orcs. Not a lot of information has been provided to us just yet, because obviously this is still quite early. But this has been something that many people have been hoping for a long time now, considering that Warhammer Fantasy had such a massive boom in popularity thanks to the Total War series. Now imagine what that can do with Games Workshop's biggest IP by an absolute margin. Total War is going to the 41st millennium. Trailer-wise, it was exactly what I was hoping for. Space Marines versus Orcs. And yeah, it didn't disappoint. We get to see so many things in there, and even some gameplay footage, which even I wasn't expecting. I thought that they were gonna kind of keep it in the wraps for a while until maybe next year. Now this has the potential to be the largest game that we'll ever see for the Total War series, and we're going to talk about a few things. The UI looks incredibly clean. Now keep in mind that this is still going to be alpha, so stuff can change around. It's very weird seeing the mini-map down there. This is going to be very different to normal Total War games, and it's very obvious there. It's especially there because we've got unit commands, it seems. So I do wonder what all of them are going to be doing, but this already looks so very different to what I was expecting. I was expecting, not gonna lie, like the Warhammer 3 UI with just a different skin. But yeah, this looks awesome. What I'm really curious about is how many units are on the field, because through a lot of shots, it's the same amount of units and it's the same positioning. But we see so many blue markers and different parts of the map being fought on. So maybe it's just like what's selected there when they're doing this, because this looks like they're playing back a replay, which might be the case because they have like a different software to get replays and so on. But I see like a start, well, a pause and a normal speed, unless they haven't just like done in triple speed and stuff yet. And obviously this is done with cameras and stuff. Like there's one person usually moving like the armies and there's another person taking the shots. This is for like the style purposes, but again, like we see like what, 18 units? No, 16 units, but there's clearly more coming in too. We get the true scope of what this game is going to be right here, because we can see the camera just really far out. This is wonderful because one issue that the Total War cameras always had is it couldn't get too far without just going onto the overhead map, and that just kind of, you couldn't see too much what was going on. This is fantastic. You can see a lot of entities flying in. I think I see some Storm Boys over there on the left-hand side. So this looks like there's going to be quite a lot of units on the field. It does look like we've got Space Marines, Orcs, and Guardsmen. So you're fighting with an ally there, trying to deal with an Orc attack. That looks like it's a lot of entities. Wow. This map does look fairly large, which I think was a big issue, honestly, with Total War games prior. Even in Warhammer 3, some maps just felt way too small, so the battles were over relatively quickly, especially if you had some Vanguard units. And it looks like it's going to be quite a lot of layers here. So I do wonder what purpose this map is it going to be. Is it going to be some sort of minor siege battle like we've seen in Warhammer 3? Or is it something just like a standard field battle? Creative Assembly did not provide any information regarding this, and that's perfectly fine. I think a little mystery does work out quite well, especially as time progresses. One thing I can heavily compliment is the unit icons. So once you get used to them, you'll know what units are what, but you can easily see what are shooter boys, you can see where the truck is, you can see storm boys, you can see guardsmen, just generic guardsmen over there, what's the tank, where the intercessors are. This is so important because, again, all the Total War games, it was kind of a generic flag, and it would be kind of difficult to lose sight on certain units sometimes. Okay. Army Painter? Oh my god. Are we finally getting an Army Painter? This is something that has been asked for a long time, especially when it comes to 40k. So it looks like we might be getting an Army Painter for the Space Marines, maybe for the other factions too. Oh god, I hope it's really in-depth. We've had a lot of fun Army Painters with different Warhammer games before, but like if you're going to be doing this army, you know, you're going to be wanting to have a lot of choices, especially with a game like Total War, where especially 40k, right? You can have so much personalization when it comes to your own forces. So this would be wonderful. Imagine doing a whole campaign with an army that you have designed, right? There's so many choices of Space Marines too. Like you can make your essentially your favorite chapters One thing that I'm really curious about is that character at the front has changed a lot, right? Like he changes just his general look, loads of things, even having a helmet. I do wonder if this means we might have a character customizer. Like, it's been done before. We have that in Warhammer 3 with Daniel the Demon Prince. If they do that for a Space Marine Chapter Master, the possibilities would be endless. Again, nothing has been confirmed to me, but if that's the case, please let me change the weapons around. Like, that's one of my big things. If that is the case, I would love a weapon changing option. Daniel the Demon Prince can't do that. It would be amazing. Yeah, I'm definitely wish listing here, but like a Chapter Master being able to change around their armor type and so on. I know a lot of people liked Phobos or Gravis armor. If you could tailor your character, that would be just the ultimate experience with a Space Marine chapter. Loads and loads of people like different characters. You'll see that on the tabletop when people are bringing in different armies. So there is so much that can be done. 10th edition hasn't been as good as previous editions in terms of customability, but they could go absolutely insane here. We're getting some really nice up-close shots of the Orks too. This is wonderful. Orks versus Space Marines is such an iconic fit. No word on like any other factions. I very much doubt it's just going to be Space Marines, Orks, and Guard. But hey, remember Total War does thrive on a lot of DLC types, and we have seen a lot of DLC for Total War Warhammer, so I wouldn't imagine that 40k is going to be without that. It should be monumental, to say the least. And we've got to look at the campaign map with a few different worlds here. So it looks like it's going to follow the format where everyone was kind of hoping for a kind of Empire at War situation with multiple different worlds. They're linked up, so you're going to be going from world to world. We have a fair amount of different icons, both up and bottom. We can see that this is like turn 5. Okay. All right, well, it's good. You know, we're going by the turn format. I'm assuming at the top it's going to be objectives, navies, so you can move around from different planets, armies too. That looks like they are loading a little bit, so I guess they're recruiting stuff. I'm assuming the tech tree at the end. There is 2 resources. I'm assuming top left, requisition, you know, basic cash for your armies, and on the right, 280 by 500 plus 54. Population control? Population, I guess? Huh. Unless it's something else. Remember, we have no information whatsoever. Maybe when the Steam pages go live, there'll be a lot more going in. I do wonder what's at the bottom. I guess there might be other things like missions and stuff like that. But I see a scroll, which might be something else. We've got a world map. There's another ship down there too. And the scales, which might actually be the objectives, or it could just be the missions. I don't know. The thing is, it's very empty, isn't it, in terms of UI? And obviously, again, this is still alpha, so things can easily change. They didn't show much of the campaign map, so it does make me question how big of a scale it might be. I'm assuming it's going to start off with small sectors first, and then it just expand from there as more DLC comes in, and also more characters, more factions, and the rest, because I feel like it might help, right? We don't know if it's a trilogy or anything, but I imagine it's going to be one game. Like, it would be smarter. There were a lot of issues between Warhammer 1, 2, and 3, so I could imagine that it's going to be based on just one giant super game. No release has been given just yet. It has been confirmed that there's going to be no release date shown at the moment, which I guess makes sense. One thing that Creative Assembly do, and I don't want to sound negative here, but they announce something, and then they say, like, coming this year, and then there's like sometimes a delay, and you never know if that's going to be the case. So I think this is better. Wait until they are really set and go from there. What's very interesting here is this is also coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X. It's coming to console. I mean, that was kind of expected the moment that they announced Warcore, but it is coming to console, and I don't know what to think about that. That's obviously why they made the UI a lot smaller. We're going to have to wait and see how that plays. I really hope that they can do like a showcase when they're ready, of course, when they're ready, to just showcase how it's going to work, and hopefully it doesn't lose the same Total War feel that we've always come to know and love. We want a lot of units on the field, we want a lot of ridiculous stuff. Obviously with stuff like Space Marines, it's going to be a lot less units than, say, for example, Orcs and Guards, and we've already been seeing a lot of entities on the field, but this is Total War and it needs to be absolutely bonkers. Also, ultra unit sizes, please. I just want to see so much stuff exploding. And coming in with the edit, as we just got the key art, the ELDAR have also been confirmed. ELDAR are in the game. Space Marines, Orcs, ELDAR, and it looks like there's some Guard too, so that might be the fourth faction, I guess. We're going to have to wait and see, but that is very, very exciting. Oh my god, maybe we'll actually see ELDAR like finally getting a range refresh. Like, I mean, they've been getting one, but they need to finish up a few more. Let's be very honest there. It's actually really curious that a lot of people think that this was never going to happen, especially since, you know, they hit gold with Warhammer, and it's pretty obvious that they hit gold with Warhammer. They needed to find the next big thing, and what's bigger than that, right? It's 40k. This is a good thing for us as Total War fans, especially Warhammer fans too. Keep in mind that how Warhammer 40k is compared to fantasy is it's an active IP. This means that new factions are appearing pretty much on a yearly basis. New units, new models, new characters. So we could potentially see a lot more content in this game than we have seen in the 10 years of Warhammer Fantasy. But I do want to talk about a few things. Obviously, everything does look very cool. I can't wait to see how the battles play out. I do have some wish lists, obviously. We do have a brand new engine, and I think it's very important. I very, very much hope that we do get a brand new diplomacy system. Yes, there's not a lot of diplomacy when it comes to Warhammer 40k, but it does actually happen. We have seen, say, for example, rare circumstances where, yeah, the Codex Astartes will allow for the Eldar and the Imperium to fight alongside each other, or sometimes even the Tau alongside that. It's really important. It's something that has been lacking for Total War, and where better than a game where a galaxy of a multitude of different races are fighting amongst each other for supremacy, survival. It very much depends on the chosen race. Alongside big battles, and I'm very much hoping for big warfare in sieges. This is the perfect time. We have a brand new engine for Total War, and what better way to showcase that than one of the most terrifying settings in fiction, right? I hope it's not too long until I get to see some of my favorite factions, the Emperor's Children. I play Tau also, boo and hiss all you want. But if anything goes to show with Total War Warhammer, we're going to be getting content for a long, long time. This was an absolutely amazing thing to watch. I honestly can't believe it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. I do apologize if I'm a bit slow with responses today, because I have literally, as soon as this video is done, I am literally going off. I am traveling, I am moving, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've even got a laptop so I can record during my travels, during the breaks. Because I have a lot of video ideas, a lot of them. Before anything, remember that don't expect a lot of news for the end of this year. I don't imagine that we're going to be getting a lot, because Creative Assembly normally break for Christmas, and, you know, that's perfectly reasonable. You know, it's been a very busy year. We've got brand new DLC, which is very good, a lot of good patches too, and they've been celebrating their 25th anniversary. If they do post stuff, don't you worry. You'll be finding out here on this channel. So if you want to find out anything to do with Total War 40k, your boy is here. Subscribe if you can. It does really help the channel. And I'll see you all again very, very soon, guys. I will leave the trailer to play out in its entirety in case you want to see that. Have a good one. And to a new age. To a dark age.
In the grim darkness of the far future, every soul's survival hangs by a thread. Mankind is beset by endless tides of aliens, traitors, and demons. Across countless worlds, battles rage. Lead your armies. Conquer worlds. Fight on as the galaxy burns. For there is no peace amongst the stars. There is only war.